Good morning and welcome to the Pulse webinar from Platinum Controls and Vincent Process Controls. We have a great panel with us this morning. Joining us from Platinum is Jack Samus, co-CEO. We have Jared Fredrickson from Vincent Process Controls, Business Unit Leader of Digital Transformation. We also have Brandon Dyke, Product Development Engineer with Platinum, and Chance Lauer, VP of Sales and Service from Platinum. Thank you all for being with us today. Jack, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thanks, James. Before we jump into the reason we're all here today, I'd like to take a minute or two to tell you all a little bit about Platinum Control. Platinum's been in Midland for over a decade, and since our inception has been solely focused on providing our customers with the best experience imaginable. Beyond the amazing people that I'm fortunate to call my colleagues, what you're going to see in here today might be one of the single best things that we're able to offer going forward in order to enhance that customer experience. As you can see from the list of services on your screen, Platinum specializes in a very small sector of the oil and gas market, emissions control. And while I could sit here and rattle off the tech specs of our various products and services, rather than talk about what we do, which you'll hear about from the experts on the webinar shortly, I'd rather take a moment to tell you all about how we do what we do. All of us at Platinum operate by what we refer to as the Platinum Way. The Platinum Way is imprinted in our daily lives. It's on our notebooks that we all carry around with us, and even gives name to our Employee of the Month program. Boiled down, the Platinum Way is primarily focused on not only providing our customers with excellent experiences, but doing so with the highest level of accountability possible. What you're going to hear about today is our next step towards further raising that level of accountability, both internally and externally. But with all that being said, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our partners at Vincent, without whom none of this would have been possible. Jared?
Thanks, Jack. Hi, yep, Jared Fredrickson with Vincent Process Controls. I manage our digital transformation business here at Vincent. At Vincent, we're an Emerson Impact partner. A little bit about Emerson. Emerson is a leading manufacturer of industrial process controls equipment. In addition, they have an industrial software stack. And as an Emerson Impact, that is as an Emerson Impact partner, we support, service, and distribute those products. As you can see below, everything from industrial control systems, SCADA systems, remote automation solutions, things like RTUs, flow computers. We also work with quite a bit of final controls equipment, things like Fisher control valves, regulators, RTU patches. Those are among the few things that we work on and distribute here at Vincent. So, we started a digital transformation business here about 2 years ago at Vincent, and our real MO with that is honestly trying to utilize a lot of the stranded and underutilized operational data, industrial data that clients generate, be able to improve their businesses. Things like improving throughput, reducing downtime, increasing safety, and helping people achieve their sustainability goals. Those are some of the things that we really focus on. Right? And over the years, we partnered with Platinum, integrating things like Fisher control valves into their vapor recovery units. And as a partner, a lot of conversations over the years, and we started to align on things that our digital transformation business can bring to bear to be able to support them in some of their strategic initiatives as a business. And so that's a lot of what we're going through here. And to really talk about the background of that, I'm going to hand it over to Jack to cover some of that.
Thanks, Jared. So I spoke a moment ago about our need to provide the highest level of accountability to our customers, but without sufficient oversight, it's extremely difficult, bordering on impossible, to provide that level of accountability. With that being said, the problem of trying to raise accountability is not as simple to solve as it might seem. There are a number of different factors constantly pushing back in this industry, most of which all of you on this webinar are likely all too familiar with. It was the need to address these difficulties that led to Vincent and Platinum teaming up to bring you Pulse. The story of how we got here, though, is best told by Chance and Jared. Chance, you want to walk us through that?
Sure. Thanks, Jack. When discussing the development of Pulse, the goal was really just to make operating and maintaining VRUs as seamless as possible. We wanted to constantly monitor your fleet so we could identify the moment units go down. Instant notifications would enable our techs to act quickly. To maintain asset integrity, we really needed a system that could automatically recognize poorly tuned units, and this required more data. When this project originally started, we only tracked 5 data points. Now we're over 40, and it's really changed how we run our fleet. Brandon's going to show you the benefits of all that data in just a few minutes. To be clear, Platinum's priority has always been reliable products and top quality service. We're very confident that Pulse will improve both. With 24/7 access to your fleet and full transparency to your VRU operations, Pulse puts the operator and Platinum on the same team. We can utilize this data to work together and maximize performance. At the end of the day, if we can take one more thing off your plate, then we feel we've done our job. Now to dive into some details about the software development of Pulse, I'm going to turn it back over to Jared.
Yeah, thanks, Chance. Yeah, so whenever we were talking about opportunities to really add a layer of accountability, transparency, in addition, services efficiency to Platinum, and their service offering to be able to support a fleet of VRUs, we identified opportunities to be able to utilize the rich data sets that are coming from the field controllers, the PLCs that are operating these units, as Chance was mentioning. And as you see here, it's 40 plus data points. And we wanted to be able to connect that to their customers, to the Platinum service team. And so we utilized Emerson's cloud, SCADA and IoT platform to be able to do that. And so, some of the things in Pulse that you'll see are things like, near real time operating parameters, on a widely distributed display, all web-based graphics, things of that nature. And then being able to generate reports and alarms so that you're getting almost a by exception type of experience with operating these units. In addition, we identified and started to say, okay, we've got all this data here. Can we start embedding this experience that Platinum has and these years of working on these units into things like visualizations, analytics, so that you can have more proactive addressing of maybe an anomaly or something with these units. So tuning problems, mechanical problems, things like that. So that's useful for the Platinum team and their services organization to address these things. Not only that, but also they want to be and add that level of transparency. So the customer, operating these units can see these as well. So to really talk about more of the benefits of that, I want to hand it back over to Jack to cover those details.
Yep, thanks, Jared. So in creating Pulse, we've been able to increase the oversight over our ever-growing fleet of VRUs, which means that gone are the days of having to rely on a pumper or a lease operator coming across our unit and letting us know that it needs tuning or worse, that it's down on something. And instead, we can now monitor that same unit in real time and determine whether the conditions on site have changed, and if the unit needs to be finally retuned to account for those changes. With that being said, it's not just those of us at Platinum that will get to monitor these units, but our customers as well. So again, we find ourselves back at that topic of accountability and transparency. And finally, the goal with every piece of mechanical equipment, whether it's a VRU or your car, is to be as proactive as possible with maintenance rather than reactive. With Pulse, we've not only added the ability to track and trend data, but also use the powerful statistical modeling and algorithms that the amazing team at Vincent has developed in order to identify these issues before they arise, saving our customers both time and money. All that to say that the benefits of Pulse are many, and to give you a glimpse into those benefits, I'd like to introduce Brandon Dyke.
Jack, so as you've heard my colleagues say throughout this presentation, when we started developing Pulse, we wanted to be able to provide more than just a SCADA system. We wanted to be able to provide useful tools to help improve VRU efficiency, provide insight to VRU performance, provide helpful performance reports for further analysis, and also alerts for alarms at real time. To dig a little deeper into the capabilities of Pulse, next we have a series of videos to walk through each one of Pulse's major capabilities. Let's start with VRU fleet status. The Locations tab within Pulse is a great place to view individual unit status. With the unit selected on the left-hand side, we're able to view the data points that are being pulled in. As you can see, we have a few priority data points pulled in for each unit displayed immediately. They're color-coded, green for good. If there was an alarm, it would be red. And if the unit wasn't pulling data in, it would be gray. Pulse monitors over 40 data points pulled in every 5 minutes. If we go under a specific unit and expand the arrow, we're able to see additional data points that we're pulling in. One can click on any data point that they'd like to look at and view the last 7 days worth of data pulled in. You can also expand this window if you'd like to push it out further, say a month, or look into how the data's been pulling in. We're displaying alarms for each unit as well. You can come in here and investigate if the alarms have been off or if they've been triggered. One of the things that makes Pulse unique is it takes the data and then uses algorithms to analyze individual unit performance. Let's take a look at how it does that. If we move over to the Analytics tab, choose VRU availability from the drop-down menu, select the units that we're interested in displaying on the left-hand side, we can see that we're now showing the VRU mechanical availability of each unit. If you look at the map, you can see it's color-coded to the status of the unit. If you look at the right-hand side, you can see it's sorted with the highest availability at the top down to the lowest. You also have the ability to change and sort lowest to highest. Pulse is more than SCADA. Pulse is a tool that helps you optimize the performance of the VRU fleet. This is an easy way to get field-wide view of your VRU fleet, identify units that need immediate attention, and identify opportunities to tune individual units. So as you can see, there are a number of great features there that Pulse can provide you when it comes to monitoring and analyzing the status of the VRU fleet. Next, we'd like to take a look at what we call the VRU report card. This is a fast, efficient way to get a current historical view of individual VRU performance. Let's take a look at this next video and see how it does that. Let's talk about the VRU report card. The VRU report card is a useful tool for analyzing the performance of a specific unit. It is a preset report to help you monitor and manage VRU performance. Let's take a look on how to review the report card. Start on the Locations tab, select the unit within your selection tree that you would like to view. Go over to the Analytics tab, choose Report Card from the drop-down menu, and now you can see the VRU report card. Within the VRU report card, we can see the most recent 72 hours worth of data, along with the unit's mechanical availability information. Running through the data shown, we can see we have a lifetime availability percentage. Over here on the right-hand side, we have day-to-day, week-to-week, and month-to-month trends, along with the unit's total run hours, 30-day run hours, 30-day availability hours, and the 30-day availability percentage. You can see within the map, we're able to view the unit in its geographical location. And scrolling down, we're able to view key performance indicators of the compressor, including compressor speed, circulation valve percentage, suction pressure versus set points, compressor oil pressure, and discharge temperature. This information's readily available. From here, you can export in a few different options. You can export into an image, PDF, or into CSV Excel data. This is a great way to send quick snapshots of specific VRUs within the company additional personnel that are looking to analyze the performance of your VRU. So as you can see with the video, the VRU report card is a great way to quickly access critical data. You can confirm your VRU mechanical availability, proactively identify potential issues with the VRU and/or the production system, and also download the data for more in-depth analysis. Next, we're going to take a look at one of the more powerful features in Pulse. This is kind of what we feel like is our bread and butter with our system, and what differentiates us from just a standard SCADA system and our competitors as well. And so this is the ability to be able to help tune individual VRUs for optimal performance. So let's take a look at this next video and see how we do that. Here is an example of how you can use Pulse to tune the performance of individual VRUs. On the left-hand side in the graph, we can see that our data points are showing wild fluctuations from 0 up to the max set point. Our compressor speed feedback we see in the light orange. You can see it's going from 0 to 60 hertz frequently. This indicates that the compressor is turning on and off. The motor is speeding up from 0 to 60, up and down, probably putting a lot of stress on the motor. Our brown line there, we're seeing our recirculation valve on the unit, which shows that it's opening from 0 to 100%. This means the unit is fluctuating from a state of trying to capture gas to recycling gas, back and forth along with the motor speeding up and slowing down. So you've got a bit of a kind of a carousel happening there, where the unit is up and down, not really selling any gas. You can also see in the orange there that you've got your vessel pressure, suction pressure in your vessel is pretty high, fluctuating around. You see the spikes from the instances when the VRU turns off. These instances could lead to gas venting, also flaring, which is something we're trying to prevent here. Seeing this data here, one can tell that this unit is not operating in an efficient state. An operator out on location may have a tough time noticing this, as the units, even in an efficient state, will fluctuate in speed up and down, and they will not always show periods of distress like you're seeing here. So with the data seen on the left-hand side, we made a site visit. We changed some set points to try to tune the unit, and you can see a clear distinction right there around August 17th, August 18th, where we made some set point changes, where we start to see the unit behave differently. You can see that the unit's operating in a more efficient state. You can see that the lower end of the compressor speed, the light orange, only dips to 0 one time after the changes were made in a span of what looks to be about 8 days, versus it shuts off pretty frequently before then in a span of like 4 days. You can see that it's clamped to the lower end. It's probably slowing down only in roughly, maybe about 50%. You can see your suction pressure has also decreased, which means the unit is keeping the gas off your vessel, leading to lower risk of flaring or venting. You can also see that the recycle valve, the brown data points in the graph, have dramatically decreased. This means the unit is in a state of selling gas, capturing gas more frequently here. You can see there's only a couple spikes of suction pressure, which may be a facility surging gas at the time, but it's also the unit's able to keep it down even in those instances to prevent your vessel or your tanks from flaring. The changes in the unit operation could lead to, or do lead to, increased gas sales from higher gas capture, as is noticed with a reduction in suction pressure. You would see less flaring of tank or vessel gas, which leads to lower emissions. You've also got a more efficient operation. You've got less stress on the unit. The motor's not up and down. The recycle valve is for the most part staying closed. So the unit's operating in a more efficient state. With all of these changes, will also lead to lower maintenance costs. You know, you're not going to have as much stress on the unit, your motor, you have less risk of running into an issue there. Your recycle valve is operating the way it should instead of opening and closing, leading to less risk of maybe ending up in a stuck position. Just overall, with the unit running better in a more efficient state, you have a lower overall maintenance cost. You know, and then you also have it just costs less to run a unit in an efficient state than it does in an inefficient state. This is a great example of how one can use Pulse and the data acquired through Pulse to fine-tune an individual VRU performance. As you can see, tuning could be a really helpful tool. It gives you the ability to be able to change the set points and stuff and tune your VRU for better performance. So one of the things you didn't see on there, and one of the things that's happening is, you know, we've mentioned the use of algorithms and statistical modeling. So we've developed a set of conditions and really 3 to 4 key indicators that we're monitoring on the back end. Platinum is that helps proactively seek out units that we deem would be considered not tuned correctly. You know, as this data is being pulled in, it's not just being displayed, but we're actually filtering it through these algorithms, and these algorithms are set up to point to conditions where that would say, hey, maybe you need to come look at this VRU. You know, it's wildly fluctuating one way or the other. It's up and down. It's turning off more times than it should throughout an hour or so. So not only are you operating from, you know, or have the ability to see the data on the graph, trend it for whatever VRU you want to, we're also proactively seeking it out. You know, it's not just a reactive situation where, hey, we're having an issue, let's see what's going on, but you're taking it to a point where you're taking it further. We're taking it beyond that. We're seeking out instances where we can improve prior to getting into a state of having to perform maintenance or having to take care of issues that have happened out in the field. So in the future, this is something that we're going to try to open up to everybody to be able to see. We're still kind of working out some of the fine details with that, but it is being utilized on our back end. So we are using it. It's just you're not able to see it in Pulse quite yet. But as you'll see later on, this is something that we plan to make available to everyone in the future. So next, along with that, you know, not only the ability to tune, but the ability to be able to respond if there are any issues. We're going to take a look at alerts and how we can customize alerts and how we can use alerts through Pulse to manage your VRUs. Let's take a look at this next video. Alarms are a critical part of Pulse for ensuring rapid service response times and maximizing availability. Let's take a closer look at alarms. From the Locations tab, you can easily identify units in an alarm state. Drill down to see more detail on what the alarm is about. In this instance, we can see that a compressor failure alarm has been triggered. We can click on the link to get more information on when the alarm was triggered, along with a 7-day history of that alarm. When our service team sees the alarm, they dispatch the right service tech to the well site to investigate and take action. Alarm notifications can be configured to be delivered via email, text message, or phone call. Additionally, we can go to the alarm page to acknowledge the alarm and get a history of the alarm for the unit or even for the fleet. Alarms are a key factor in optimizing service resources and maximizing availability. So just to summarize a few of the benefits there, near real-time notification of potential issues, better service, identify and fix issues before they result in downtime or flaring. And we also send them straight directly to your device. You can choose text, phone call, or email, or you can choose a combination of all three of those. Pulse collects a lot of data, and it also has a robust reporting feature. So the next and last video is going to go over how we can use reports and create reports to analyze the way your VRUs are performing. One of the useful features within Pulse is the ability to create custom reports specific for any data or VRUs that you may be interested in monitoring. Let's look at how we can do that. First, we want to select the unit or units that we're interested in your selection tree. Then we go to Reports, Report Center. From here, let's add a report. Select our data options, type of data, sensor data, data resolution, daily, hourly, or minute by minute. Our date range that we want to view the data in, and then select our sensors. So let's say we're interested in the suction pressure versus set points for our units. We can create a graph which overlays this data where you can view it all together. Suction pressure, the ID set point, recirc valve suction pressure set point, and compressor offset point. From here, we can preview the graph, make sure it looks like we want it to look like. We can go to export and select our export options. Then we can come up to summary and make sure that it looks like we want it to. We click save. Choose whether we want the report to be specific to you only or allow the company to use it. Name the report. Select favorite report. Choose save. From here, we exit out, go back to our report center. We can see now that it shows up under our favorite reports. From here, we have a few options. We can remove it from favorites. We can view the graph. We can export the graph into a CSV file, or from there, we can do further analysis in Excel. We can edit the report, and we can delete the report. So if we view the report, click on the graph, you can see it has the data that we selected laid over each other and trended on the graph. The legend up at the top with the scaling on the left and the right, and the time down at the bottom. You can see the data view window that we selected, and you can see the unit or units that we selected in our selection tree at the beginning. This is an easy way to switch between units and view this data. From here, we can choose to print the graph, or we can download it in a variety of different options. We can also choose to remove something. One of the data points that we added on here, we can always bring it right back on. We can zoom in to a certain area if we're interested and create high resolution within that time span. View the data more finely. You can always go back and get back to our normal time span. The report will stay in your report center, and you have the ability at that point to switch and select different units, and the report will auto-populate and bring in that data for those units. So the report stays the same, and you can use it for any unit you select at that point. And that's a quick look at our reports. As you can tell, this is a great way to be able to grab data out of Pulse quickly. Great way to view it, great way to send it out, and ultimately a great tool to, again, better help you manage your fleet and help it run more efficiently. So a few key things there. You can see it's a pretty neat way to graph and look at your data. You know, the ability to customize to individual needs is great. You can save your custom templates for reuse, and the information is available in real time. You know, I hope y'all found those videos useful. You know, I know there's a lot of information there. We just tried to pick some of the highlights there and show y'all what Pulse can do. Now I'm going to hand it back off to Jack, and Jack's going to go over a few of the things that we currently have in development in regards to Pulse.
Thanks, Brandon. So in addition to the features that Brandon has just demonstrated, we also have several other items that are currently in development that we're all extremely excited to roll out in the very near future. The first of which is integrating Pulse with our digital work order system. What this will allow us to do is sync our work orders with the events that Pulse is recording. So for example, let's say Pulse signals that a unit went down on high discharge pressure at 10:05 a.m. this morning. Our technician would be dispatched to resolve the issue, and the work order submitted by that technician would then be tied to the resolution of that alarm, meaning that you as a customer can log in, not only have quick and easy oversight into what exactly is going on with your units, but also the reports tied directly to any events that have occurred. Second, we're currently testing a pilot program that brings in flow measurement for specific VRUs. As of right now, we've had successful tests with with Rosemount flow meters, and we'll be starting tests on Fox meters in the very near future. In addition to knowing just how much gas a single VRU is moving, this will provide us and our customers the benefit of identifying potentially oversized or undersized units before they become a drain on resources or a bottleneck to facility production. Additionally, as we continue to add features to Pulse, the need for more advanced mapping features also grows, and this is one area that will likely change dramatically year over year as we get feedback from our customers in regard to what exactly you want to have access to at your fingertips. Lastly, Brandon spoke a moment ago about Pulse's ability to aid in VRU tuning, and while its current functionality is already extremely beneficial, we're working with Vincent to take that even one step further. Right now, the vast majority of tuning flags have to be identified and disseminated manually. Our goal for the very near future is to further expand Vincent's models and algorithms so that Pulse is able to recognize trends in data and automatically flag when a unit is nearing parameters that require a technician on site, even further increasing our efficiency and expediency as it relates to field services. So this is just a glimpse of what we've got going on in the background. And we're so excited for all of you to enjoy these features with us in the very near future. With that, I'll hand it back over to Chance to lead the Q&A.
Thanks, Jack. We don't have a ton of time, but we're going to take a handful of questions. If anybody does have a question, feel free to enter it into the chat bar. There's already been a few. The first one is there a mobile app? Yes, there is. Brandon, you want to go over the details on that?
Yeah, so we do have a mobile app. It's a little bit different than your desktop feature. You're not going to get the full capabilities, but you'll get some of the most important ones, which is the ability to view your data. What you'll do is create routes. You'll have your units on your app, and then you can go through and all the data that we're able to pull into the desktop and that we are pulling in, you'll be able to view through your mobile app. The only features you will not have on there would be the features with the analytics, such as the custom graph, your VRU report card, and things like that. But yes, there is a mobile app, and it does work.
Great, thank you, Brandon. Second question is, are you tracking service response time? And there's a lot to go over there. Jack, you want to review that?
Sure. So I mentioned a moment ago when I was talking about integrating our digital work order system and tying it to specific events, kind of expanding on that. So the example I used a moment ago was we had a unit go down a few minutes ago on high discharge pressure as an example. Pulse is going to record that event. And I think a moment ago I said it went down at 10:05. So Pulse flags this unit X has gone down at 10:05 for high discharge pressure. We dispatch a technician, he resolves it, and Pulse automatically recognizes that failed state has been cleared, and say it happens at 11:30. So in that way, we're currently able to track service response time rather manually through Pulse. But again, our intention is to take that to a further step of integration with those digital work orders, so that we can say, our average response time to these type of alarms is X, Y, and Z, so that you, our customer, again, just have more insight as to what exactly is going on your facilities.
Good deal. Thank you. Third question is, can we put this on a non-platinum VRU? I think we can on a case-by-case basis. Brandon, you want to go over some of the details? I know the PLC has to be reviewed, a lot of different little factors.
Yeah, so it is possible, but it's a little more complicated. So Pulse in our system right now is tailored toward our PLCs and our panels. And so we, at this point, we take it on a case-by-case basis. We'd have to look through, see what your equipment has, capabilities, kind of go from there. So if you are, so the answer is yes. If you are interested, please reach out. We'll have to get together with Vincent and kind of walk through it. So we just kind of handle it on a case-by-case basis at the moment.
Okay. Next question we have is actually two questions together. Are all Platinum VRUs going to be outfitted with Pulse? And what is your rollout schedule for Pulse? Jack, I think you might have the most insight there.
Sure. I'm going to kind of tackle these one by one. So the first question, I believe, was, are all Platinum VRUs going to be outfitted with Pulse? So it's yes and no. All leased VRUs will come with Pulse equipped as a standard feature when they're shipped from our factory in Midland. However, all sold VRUs will be obviously at the discretion of the customer. You own the equipment, you can do with it what you please. With that being said, for equipment oversight and integrity, all of us at Platinum highly recommend the addition of Pulse, but we also understand that a company's security or current SCADA systems might not make this possible. With that being said, we have a significant amount of sold units that have Pulse installed and have yet to run into any issues integrating that with customers' integrated SCADA systems that they might be running. So we're extremely confident that we can do both. And the second question, I believe, is what's the rollout schedule for Pulse? We started rolling this out to our leased fleet and the equipment that we were maintaining that we had sold around the end of May. And by October 1st, we plan to have roughly 500 units online. And that's growing daily, not just from the units we're building and shipping from our Midland facility, but also the units still in the field that need to be installed. So the rollout schedule is ongoing and ever growing. But again, it's tied back to, like I said, all leased units leaving the factory with Pulse. So yeah, I hope that answers that question.
Good deal. Let's take one more. How and when will customers be able to log in to take advantage of Pulse? Brandon, you want to review login details and timeline and all that?
Yeah, so the system's ready. We're just working through a few of the finer details to make sure we have everything working appropriately. So right now, our goal is to have the system available at the beginning of the month, October 1. So we're not far away. It'll be as simple as us providing you login detail. You'll have access to your fleet, your units, and everything that we went through the videos a little while ago. It'll all be available to you exactly as it was. So whenever we get to that point, we can always help walk you through it. We can do another, review of the capabilities. We'll run you through it, spend some time, show you how to kind of maneuver the site and work it. So yeah, so here in about a week or two, we should be able to provide access to everyone.
Thanks, Brandon.
Just to add on to that real quick as well. One of the things here, as y'all have clearly been able to see, is Pulse it's ever changing. We've been working for the last year or so with Jared and his team extremely close, and even over that year, there's still a lot of things that we want to add. So our request to you is, as our customers, when you get in here and have oversight to your fleet, if there's things that you would like to see that can make your jobs easier, or even just less stressful, please let us know. This is a really fun time to be working on Pulse for all of us. And what you're looking for might just be different than us. And we don't want to kind of shut off that avenue for feedback. So please get in there, start poking around, let us know if things aren't working the way you want them to work, or if there's a feature, like I said, that can make your lives easier. I promise we'll be very excited for that feedback.
Thank you, Jack. That's really all the time we have for now. If there were any questions that were asked that did not get answered, we will save these and get back to you via email. We really appreciate your time today. James, I'm going to get it back to you.
Great, thank you, Chance, and thank you. Thanks to everyone on the panel, and of course, big thanks to everyone who attended through the entire webinar. It's been great. We really appreciate your time and your interest. Feel free to reach out to Chance or Jared. I know that they would be really happy to hear from you. So with that, that concludes today's event. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.